Hello, welcome to the Quantum Success Show. I'm super excited because my family is way into American Ninja Warrior, and for years we've been watching it, and Maxim even a couple years ago said, "Mommy, I want to do that when I get older." So, as we're watching American Ninja Warrior, I'm kind of picking who I like and who I enjoy watching, and the boys have their favorites. Frederick has his. And Adam Rayl has always been someone that I just really appreciated watching. I appreciated his focus, his determination, and to learn more about his story, I was like, and to find out he's in Arizona, I asked my assistant to get a hold of him, and he graciously said yes to an interview. So let me introduce our guest today, and then we'll get into talking to Adam Rayl. So Adam has made a name for himself on the hit NBC show American Ninja Warrior. He was an unknown walk-on rookie in Season 8, making it all the way to Stage 2 of the National Finals. This season, in the LA qualifiers, host Matt Eisman introduced him as one of the hottest ninjas in the world. For 3 seasons now, Adam has wowed the audience with his amazing strength and athletic skill. Since his first appearance, it has been full force ahead outside of the show as well. In 2017, he won the inaugural Wolfpack Ninja Tour in Denver, was named 2017 Grand Champion after winning Wolfpack Ninja Tour 2.0, and he took first place in Michigan's Rockford Ninja Warrior Championship, and also became the national championship of the Ultimate Ninja Athlete Association in Dallas competition. Adam's credo is be rock solid, and when I hugged him today, that's what he is, and he strives to be rock solid in all things. He dons a signature headband, entertains with a crazy back full flip, and most often honors the course with a respectful bow. So welcome, Adam.
Thank you very much for having me, Christy. That was a very, very beautiful introduction. I appreciate it.
Well, I'm super excited because I was so happy to hear that you were from Scottsdale and that you said hi or said yes. And so thank you for being here.
Yeah,
and
it's an honor.
There's something, obviously, as a law of attraction coach and author in my latest book, Quantum Success, there are certain qualities that I see in people, and one of the qualities that you represent quantum success, and I'll explain why. But I would love for you to even talk about the honor that you do when you bow to the course that you're about to do. Like, what came over you to do that, and what is that thought process?
So I feel like partially it was a play on martial arts, given that it's called Ninja Warrior. Not that the show has any roots in actual martial arts, but I just thought it was kind of an aesthetic that was appealing to me. But mostly it has to do with when you give everything to something and you're really passionate about something and you pursue something full force, I feel like it's never good to be conceited or cocky, and sometimes people who achieve high levels in athletics become that way, and I don't feel like that's a good example for others. And I've never really been one to appreciate that when I see that, so I just thought, bowing and trying to show respect and honor to what you're about to do in anything in life, but particularly in athletics and for me, running obstacle courses, it felt natural, it felt fitting, and it felt right.
That's awesome, because it's a sign of respect and it's a sign of humility. Because we've even seen this season, my son Alex, his favorite is Drew. Like a lot of people, right?
Definitely.
Drew Dreschler, yeah, he's amazing.
He's my favorite.
Well, you were mine, so. But, even him and Jesse Graff, I mean, they went out in the qualifiers, they didn't complete the whole entire course. And so, even though someone is so great and they're so athletic and they're considered the top, you just don't know what's going to happen. And so I love your perspective of just being so humble that, anything could happen, right?
It is, yeah. And especially with Ninja Warrior, it's one shot and you're done. I mean, you have a whole season, people train 365 days a year, and then you go on the show, and if you're so lucky, and you get one shot, and you can be the most skilled, qualified athlete in the world, but if you make a silly little slip or mistake, that's your season, you're done. So you almost have to be humble, because no matter what, no matter how good you are, even like you mentioned Jesse Graff or Drew Dreschel, these people go down. I mean, everybody makes mistakes. Even the guy that won the show in season 7 came back the next year and fumbled on the first obstacle in the national finals. So you can never be 100% consistent, and you have to remain humble, I feel.
I love that. I love that humility. So, and there's a sense of focus that you have that I find, and you see that, I can see that in a lot of the ninjas, but there's such a presence about you when you're doing each and everything. Can you share what that presence is within you?
I could guesstimate, perhaps.
Well, like what goes through your head? What's your thought process when you're about to tackle on the next one? You've just gone through one. It's like, what?
Yeah, that's a common question. I feel like actually the answer isn't what you might expect. I think it's it's a zone, really, more than anything, and I think that's probably what comes across physically as a focus. And it is definitely a focus, but more than that, it's transcendent of thought for me. When I used to compete as a gymnast, or even now as an obstacle course racer, everything, all thoughts and all visualization comes before running the course, right? Everything is pre-planned, and I know exactly what I want to do, and I know what I want to do as a backup to what I wanted to do, and a backup to my backup, pretty much. There's a tertiary plan. So everything is pre-thought and pre-visualized, and then past that, when it's go time, and cameras are on and lights are on, and it's time to roll and compete, there's no thought. It's absolutely zero thought. It's a calm, clear mind, and it's just pure athletics at that point.
So you have just described, just in the short time that we've talked, like 3 of the qualities I talk about in my book, Quantum Success. Mm-hmm. And it's pre-paving. It's already knowing what you're going to do so that while you're doing it, you're being. So you're in that zone. And I love what you said. It's like you've thought about not only the first thing, but the second thing or the third thing that you're going to do. Because there's been times when I've watched you where you like slipped, or and the saves that you do, I'm like, oh, yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's instinct too. As much as I say it has to do with a plan and a second plan and a third plan, in the moment you make a mistake and things don't always go according to plan, and you just have to be immediately willing to adapt and just figure it out on the fly, essentially.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I know there's a lot of people that want to be on American Ninja Warrior, right? And you had walked on. Mm-hmm. So what was your mindset when you went to go walk on? I mean, were you like, I'm getting on no matter what? I mean, what was your thought process?
Pretty much. So for me, I knew as soon as I saw Sasuke originally, which is the Japanese show from which American Ninja Warrior was born, that it was something I wanted to do, and that I felt like there was a high degree of translation from having been a competitive gymnast as a younger athlete. So I knew I really wanted to try it, and I didn't really know much about it. Didn't have any inside knowledge, didn't have any people who had been on the show, any friends that I knew. Like a lot of people have that in. I didn't have that. So a couple of friends had walked on in Los Angeles, which is, to get on the show, there's basically, you have 2 options. You can submit a submission video, and they can pick you out of tens of thousands of submission videos, or you can walk on, which is essentially you camp out at a given location. And that's what me and a friend did. We drove basically 18 hours across the country to Kansas City in season 7, and waited about a week and a half, I would say, camping outside, and we didn't get a shot. So we were too far back in line. We were like 22 and 23rd in line, I think. It only took 16 people out of the walk-on line that year.
And is it kind of first come, first serve?
It is. Okay. It is, essentially, yeah. It's whoever spends the most amount of time there, that's the most amount of dedication in the show's eyes. And occasionally they'll make switches, and they'll see interesting people in line or stories they want to talk about, and they'll make some adjustments. But for the most part, it's who's waited the longest. And so that was kind of my rite of passage. Season 7, halfway across the country, a week and a half in line, camping out, and didn't get a shot. And so that was a definite disappointment, but at the same time, it was a strong motivator.
Let me stop you there for a
sure.
minute, because I think with a lot of people, they would have something like that. Well, crap, I just wasted a week and a half of my life. I drove across the country. I put all this in. Oh, well, I guess it's not meant to be, and they crawl back under a rock, right? That motivated you. So how did that happen with Insight? Because you were such an example of quantum success, talk about. It didn't go right the first time. It wasn't, you probably visualized that you would get on, but that didn't exactly happen. So, what motivates you to keep going, whereas most people will go, oh, well, I tried?
I mean, it was an obstacle on the path to success, right? When you're trying to accomplish something, there are always going to be bumps in the road. It's rarely do you have a perfect process from A to Z, I feel like, at least in my experience so far. So that for me was just a motivator. I mean, it was definitely, like I said, a disappointment at first, because I fully expected I was going to get a shot, but little did I know there's a lot that goes into it, and until you have the inside knowledge, you don't know what's going on, you don't know what you're doing, you don't know how to navigate the terrain. So it was a learning experience for me, and fortunately I was able to watch some of the competitors compete, and so I got some familiarity with the show and met some people, and that was good. But I very distinctly remember after 2 weeks of being in Kansas City, and we're leaving and driving back to Phoenix, and I remember looking through the rear view window of the vehicle and just seeing the lights of the course fade off into the distance. And I just have a very, very distinct, I can picture it perfectly right now, that image in my mind. And that I fixated on that, I would say. And that was the source of my motivation to try hard, compete, train, get better, and learn more about the process of getting onto the show and taking a year to do whatever it took to get another chance. And that's what I did. And then I came back for season 8 and walked on more successfully. And that was my first season.
That is amazing. Talk about perseverance. Well, how did it feel to have Matt, of all people, say you are one of the hottest ninjas in the world? I mean, that really must have.
Yeah. All you can do is laugh a little bit about it. Definitely an honoring thing to have him say that. Gives me a little bit of goosebumps, I would say. It's interesting to go from unknown walk-on, to only 3 seasons ago, and then in my 3rd year to have him say something that profoundly honoring, I suppose. Definitely pretty cool. I think it's a function of hard work. If you work hard at something, people are going to recognize achievement, and they'll honor you for it.
Well, this year on American Ninja Warrior, they put up the 16-foot wall because, it's not hard enough to go up a 14-foot wall. Let's just make it hard, a little bit harder. Put 2 feet, right?
Slight correction, 18 feet.
18 feet.
18 feet, yeah.
Even better, 18 feet.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And if you did that, you awarded $10,000. Now, most every single ninja was trying it, because why not, right? You have one chance to try it. If not, you can go try the smaller wall, 14 foot.
Smaller, yeah. Technically, yes.
Yeah. So he goes up like it's nothing. $10,000. He's one of very few that did it.
Wow.
Six
Out
in
of
season
how
10.
many?
So about 70,000 video submissions, about 100 athletes times 6 regions. So roughly, about 600 or 700 people compete each season. And we had about 6, so 1%.
And when he did it.
You're a 1%er.
Yeah.
In this case, I suppose I was.
But it was amazing to watch you do it. It was like you made it look so effortless.
It's kind of amazing when you're on the stage, if you don't succumb to the pressure of the lights, camera, action, audience, reality TV show, all that, and you've been training, and you feel the adrenaline and you feel the pressure, but in a productive way. If you can take pressure and you can turn it into a productive, motivating force in that moment, it's unlike anything most people have ever experienced, I would say. It's like I was full goosebumps and just felt as light as a bird, even though I'm 180 pounds. I felt light. I felt it could have been 20 feet, I feel like. Not to sound, cocky or anything like that, but it's a very motivating process to be in front of everyone and your family in particular, and your friends are cheering you on. And I had Drew Dreschel on my sideline, so it's pretty cool. Yeah, it's amazing what you can do when the right factors are at play.
It is really cool, the community. When you see it, that a lot of the Ninja Warriors are on the sidelines and they'll change their shirts for who's ever about to go. And it really seems like it's a really neat community of support and encouragement. It
is. I would definitely agree. I think people recognize that pretty regularly. It's unlike most sports. There's definitely a competitiveness amongst competitors. Absolutely, we're going for $1 million. That's no joke. But at the same time, everybody wants to see everybody progress as much as possible and as quickly as possible. And if you help somebody with one thing and they take a technique and they modify it or adjust it to their own personality, I suppose you could say, athletically, then maybe you'll learn something and you'll get something back from that. So it's a very communal vibe, and it's a very positive, supportive vibe.
Which is another quality of quantum success. Instead of looking, you can be competitive but not competitive and holding back from somebody else. But, like Drew, you see him on the sideline a lot, and he's encouraging and he's coaching a lot of the other ninjas. And it's a very cooperative, very inspiring, very abundant-minded way of being, which is just, I think one of the reasons that we're all so attracted to the show, because it's each person is pushing themselves beyond and doing things that, to me, I'm like, if I try to do the gym or the, what's the thing at the park?
The jungle gym,
the monkey bars.
Yeah,
I'm
classic.
ow, and you guys are flipping in the air, jumping, leaping, and having to grab. It's incredible. So there's just a high level of respect that I have for what you do, and it's amazing.
Yes.
Absolutely. So you are fastly becoming a role model, and you got to meet my boys. And when it was cute to see Alex's face, he was a little starstruck with his big smile. So what does it feel like to be a role model to younger kids that, like even Maxim, that wants to do what you're doing?
It's an interesting thing to have a platform such as we have, being athletes on the show, nationally televised show. It's not ever anything I had expected or anticipated to have, but it's definitely something I'm appreciative of having. It reminds me of Peter Parker's grandfather in Spider-Man when he says, "Great power is great responsibility. With great power comes great responsibility." I think it's kind of like that. It is definitely a responsibility, but it's one that I'm happy to have and that I respect and that I'm still learning still learning about. So it holds me accountable to be the best that I can be in everything that I do, and because I know hundreds of thousands of kids are watching, and so I have to be my best, and so it's cool. It works both ways. I might be helping them to some degree by trying to show and be an example of what you might be able to become if you try your hardest and stay true to yourself, but at the same time they're holding me accountable to be my best self, so it's a cool two-way street.
That's awesome. Well, I really want to thank you for being here. My money is on you. I totally see you. I hold that vision that you are going to be the one standing at the end that wins $1 million. I just feel that. I see that. And to help you do that, I want to gift you my new book. It's actually coming out in September. This is a galley, but it's called Quantum Success, and it'll, it'll help you even be more focused and more visual, and just get there, because that's what I'm holding for you, and I really appreciate you being here, but more importantly, I appreciate the role model and the level of light and commitment and dedication that you have and what you're showing the younger generation. So thank you for that.
Yeah, I appreciate it very much, Christy. Thank you very much for having me. It was a pleasure.
Absolutely. So thanks, you guys. Leave us a comment. Let me know what you're taking away from the show. There were so many great nuggets in talking with Adam, and I'm just really grateful. Guys, you want to come real quick before we come in?
Real quick, too, if I could just, my very favorite quote, for what it's worth. We must all suffer one of two pains, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. The difference is discipline weighs ounces while regret weighs tons. We must all suffer one of two pains. You got to choose.
Say that again. Say that again.
So we must all suffer as human beings one of two pains, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. If you're not disciplined, you're going to be regretful at some point in life, right? So the difference is discipline weighs ounces while regret weighs tons.
Wow.
So choose to do the hard work and choose to put in the effort, and ideally be passionate about what you're pursuing. So if you do, the hard work is not going to be perceived as tough, and then life is going to be good.
Awesome. What a great way to end the show. Thank you so much. Can you high five Adam? Thanks so much, Adam.
Yes.
Appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Got a big hand. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.